to the IFF TV podcast.
Hello, Irish Football Fan TV. This is the final word. Republic of Ireland have beaten Andorra away from home 4-1. Gary, you were at the game. I suppose we'll start off with the lineup. I suppose I'll run through it there really quickly. Bazunu in goal, Matt Doherty, John Egan, Daryl O'Shea, James McLean, Conor Howard, Josh Cullen, Jason Knight, Ronan Curtis, Troy Parrott and James Collins. When you saw the lineup, were you shocked? Were you surprised? How were you feeling?
Yeah, I wasn't that shocked or surprised, Paul. I suppose, given that Stephen needed the win, I think that's why he probably went for quite an experienced lineup. I think he may have given a couple of younger players. No, I know some of these are very young players that he went with, but I suppose some of the less experienced players more of a run if there wasn't such pressure on the result. But there wasn't really any huge surprises for me. I'm just wondering if Stephen does play with four at the back, are John Egan and Daryl O'Shea going to be his centre halves of choice going forward? The fullbacks were kind of necessitated by Seamus Coleman and the Stevens not being available. Goalkeeping one was an interesting one to me. I actually kind of expected Caoimhín Kelleher, but then thinking about it, I would expect Caoimhín to start in Budapest, and maybe that's more of a test for him. That we'll obviously be much more under the cosh in Budapest than we were in Andorra. Not too much in surprise in the midfield, really. It was good for Josh Cullen to start and get some time. Conor Howard, and I know we talked about this and there was a doubt whether he would start, having played in the playoff last weekend, but I think he is one of Stephen's go-to guys. And Jason Knight, yeah, absolutely. I think he's becoming an established starter now. And the front three, I mean, it was great to see Troy Parrott. And I think he's one that a lot of us have high hopes for. And I suppose James Collins, Ronan Curtis, what do you say? Yeah, that's... I suppose you can make a case for a couple of more, but not a huge surprise for anyone.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people giving Troy Parrott a lot of abuse. I picked him in my starting 11 show. I kind of had him as one of those wide players. He's kind of showed up all over the place. He seems to be playing like a number 10. Jason Knight was showing up on the right hand side. But yeah, like I was delighted for Troy in the end, and we'll come to his goals and stuff like that. We'll come to all that in the second half. But I suppose just kind of keeping it into the first half. But just on Bazunu, I think that Bazunu's got the shirt right now. I think that he'll probably start against Hungary again. I'd be surprised if Kelleher comes in. I think Bazunu's done very well on the appearances that he's had so far, that he'll probably stick with him. Look, if Kelleher plays against Hungary, will I be bothered? Will I be unhappy? No, I want to see him. I want to see what he can do as well. So look, either or, I was happy with there. Regarding the rest of the team, I could see why you went with it. Other than I think Collins and Curtis, I think he had a pretty much similar team to me, and maybe McLean at left back as well. But you can see why you went with those, options. I know McLean played a part in nearly 3 of the goals anyway, so you can see why he also played a part in their goal, which we'll come to too. But I suppose first half there was little to show. Just on my notes there, we looked poor. There was no patterns of play. We have no real identity. Whereas in the other games that probably Stephen's been in charge for, we probably looked like we had a bit of an identity in terms of playing out from the back and trying to do that. But it was a lot of long balls and, aimless, long hitting balls that just weren't working on that surface. Now, you were obviously at the game. What was the surface like? Was it as bad as it seemed on the TV?
No, I was having a chat with a friend of mine this afternoon, and I actually thought the surface looked fine in real life, and I actually got to walk on it. earlier on in the afternoon when I was going in to collect my accreditation. The only route in was onto the pitch and back in underneath, and it looked fine. I mean, it is an artificial surface, but it actually looked and felt pretty good underneath. Now, I don't know. It could be very different to play on. So I wouldn't be blaming the pitch, but I definitely agree the first half was pretty poor. It was a lot of aimless long balls. Andorra did press us very well, and they worked really hard, particularly in the first half. And I mean, I suppose it's the old cliche, but these teams do tire after about the hour. But I thought in the first half, they pressed us. We had to go long a bit more than I think Stephen would have wanted to, or not that our teams or his teams have done in the past. And then when that didn't work, it looked pretty aimless, all right. But it was a disappointing half of football, and I don't think you can take too many positives from it.
Yeah, I suppose we'll just go through the chances, and I suppose just I say chances, but they weren't much chance. Yeah, well, they had a Josh Cullen kind of swipe at the ball from the edge of the box, which on another day he just sliced it, didn't he? But on another day it might go in the top corner, but 9 times out of 10 they go over the bar. Then obviously Collins' header was an absolute sitter. I did move out of the way there because my mum's cat there is going up the stairs there, so the joys of live TV. So if anyone is actually joining us, we are live, so if you want to get your comments in or you know, something that you want to discuss from last night's game, feel free. But yeah, Collins missed an absolute sitter with that header. Great ball in by Jason Knight, super ball. He wasn't closed down, delivered a perfect ball, and that should be 1-0. It wasn't 1-0, and again, that's alarming that, you know, Collins, he's supposed to be our main striker. That's what it seems right now. He seems to be our go-to man, our number 9. And he's not putting away simple chances like that. Now, I know he scored against Serbia and he got the goal against Bulgaria in a friendly too. But he needs to be burying that. If he wants to be a serious international striker for us, he needs to be scoring that. And he can't be missing that. I mean, that's your bread and butter as a striker, in my opinion. So, that was...
No, I would say, Paul... Look, it was a bad miss. I'm not going to gloss over that, but his movement actually to get on the end of it and lose the marker was excellent. And I mean, had he scored, it would have been you would have been talking about a classic centre forwards goal, because it was brilliant movement, got into the ideal position, and as you say, then it was a bad miss. He totally fluffed the header from 6 yards out in front of goal. So,
but he didn't score, so. It was a terrible miss. You've said it before. It was a terrible miss as well. So I'm not buying it.
Oh no! Look, it was a bad miss. I'm not arguing that one. I don't think you can argue that point. I just thought, as you said, it was a great ball from Jason Knight, and his movement for it was excellent. But the miss was terrible. There's no, you can't really.
So you can't sugarcoat it, in my opinion. No. Anyway. And then 2 minutes later, so in the space of 5 minutes, with 3 chances. Curtis then the strike over the bar from the edge of the box as well. Another poor strike. And from a Ronan Curtis point of view, I mean, this is another fellow who's trying to make a claim in the team and just never making an impact when he plays. I don't know what it is about the team. They look like, I know some of them may not have played with each other before, but for the large part, a lot of them have played with each other before. Especially in the last number of games. They look like total strangers out there at times. And you're just looking at them going like, just try and get on the ball, try and make something happen. You know, I know Damien Delaney was going, well, he wasn't going mad, but he was kind of, I suppose, pointing out the fact that when Horgan gets on the ball, he just plays it safe all the time. If the ball's coming to him, he could turn and try and make something happen going forward, but he just plays a simple pass back to the centre-back the whole time. And then we're left with, you know, just trying to build from the back again instead of maybe turning quick and trying to make something happen. So it was a very disappointing first half, and there was just not a whole lot going on, which was really, really frustrating. I know you joined us at half time. We were kind of saying it. It's like the only real chance of anything happening was that Collins chance, and everything else was just nothing really clicking there for us at all in the first half. So I suppose moving into the second half, I mean, they get their goal. That's the first thing that kicks off in the second half. They get their goal the 51st minute. Valles. Good free kick in. James McKean Derek Kavanagh, who obviously was on the show with us before, he actually stopped it and showed that McLean was marking him before he ran into the box unmarked by himself, and he had a free header. Really good goal from their point of view. Really bad goal from our point of view. I don't think Bazunu can do anything about it. Thought Bazunu had a good game overall, but I don't think Bazunu could have done anything about it. And here we are. We were fearing the worst at that stage when that goal went in. Me and Ethan were on the watch along and we were going, "Oh Christ, can this really be happening?" I don't know how you were feeling, because you were obviously inside the stadium. So how were you feeling when that goal went in? I was in shock, disbelief.
I was sick. I mean, I suppose give credit to, it was a great free kick from Alex Martinez, and as you said, a great one from Mark Valles, and it was a great header. Gavin Bazunu, nothing he could have done about it. I didn't pick up live who lost his man. So you're telling me it's James McLean? Then
well, that's fine. If you actually Derek freeze framed it and
I'm not. I wouldn't argue with Derek on things like that. I'm sure he's absolutely spot on. But look, a great goal from an Andorra point of view. A very disappointing goal from our perspective. Goal down 6 minutes into the second half, and given how well Andorra had pressed us and how well they had played, it was a big concern. I mean, I was thinking, this is a nightmare. This is going to be a total disaster. And frankly, I was thinking that's Stephen Kenny's job gone. Because I don't think he would have survived a 1-0 defeat in Andorra. And I'm not even sure he would have survived a 1-1 draw. But I was just fearing the worst, because we were already in the second half playing against a team who were working really hard at 0-0. Now they had something to hang on to. And it was pretty much doom and gloom at that point.
Yeah, no, it was. And when that goal went in, and they were all pointing the finger at each other. Now, I have to say, considering the fact McLean was at fault for the goal, he did make up for it because he played his part in Troy's first goal. Bit of play down the left-hand side. I think Curtis may have flicked that. He might have got an assist for Troy's goal. But Troy runs at the Andorran defence. Very clever play. And then reverse finish. Brilliant. At that point, buzzing, because you're looking and you want your young players to get off the mark, get their first Ireland goal. It doesn't matter who it's against, but you want them to get their first. And you could just see the pressure just lifted off his shoulders, and he just expressed himself, and it was just freedom after that from his point of view. Thought he was the best player on the pitch then after that, once he got that goal, and you could see him coming and demanding the ball and looking for a lot more than others. But when that goal went in, you must have been buzzing, I suppose, just for Troy in general, obviously, to be back in the level, but the fact that he scored it as well, you must have been buzzing.
Yeah. I mean, I said it on Instagram. I first saw Troy when he was 15 down in Galway against Turkey in Murphy. I wasn't at the game where he scored the stunning free kick. I think that's still available on YouTube. But I was at the second game in that double header, and there was already a bit of a hype about him at that stage, and he was only 15. And then fast forward to the Euros in 2018 in England, and where Troy really came of age for the under-17s, and he played really well. We got to the quarterfinals, lost out in penalties to the eventual winners, the Dutch, in that horrendous penalty shootout. But Troy was probably the star of that. Certainly from an Irish perspective, he was the star of it. And the hopes were so high that he was going to be our next superstar. And I think, not just me, I think, look, nearly all the Irish fans I know, they were following him more closely at Millwall than we were following any other Irish player. It didn't work out. Then he went to Ipswich, and the wait for the goal. And I suppose it didn't really work out at Ipswich either. It did get a couple of goals. It was better. But, that was the first goal, that was a superb goal yesterday. And you talked about the first half, Paul, and the passing and all the short passing and either the aimless long balls or the passing that was going nowhere. I mean,
overpassing.
It looked to me like Troy said, "Feck this, I care for my language here.
Go ahead.
What the hell? I'm taking," and he just took it by the scruff of the neck and he just ran at the defence, which we hadn't done. And obviously it worked out, and a great finish, and that just it lifted the whole mood, and as you said, it totally transformed Troy, and I just think onwards and upwards, because that's a fantastic boost for him in international football to get his first international goal, and such a spectacular one that it was.
Yeah, because not even, I think it was like maybe a minute or two later, he gets into that chance and it just brilliantly shows great composure and just kind of lofts the ball over to Curtis, and it seems easier to score there. And I spoke about Collins' miss earlier, and I was quite critical of that, but I have to be even more critical of Ronan Curtis. I mean, this is a lad who's done quite well in League One. He scores bags of goals for Portsmouth every year since he's been there, and he looks a real good prospect when he plays with Portsmouth. He can't seem to get it right for Ireland. I don't know what it is. I'd like to see him get it right, but that miss, if that had cost us the game, that would have been inexcusable. He got out of jail a little bit. The fact that Troy and the other lads bailed him out a little bit, but if that had finished 1-1, even though it was a friendly, it could have easily been all on him, because he missed an absolute sitter with his left foot. I don't know why he hits it with his left foot. He could have hit it with his right foot. But anyway, he misses the chance, and then 3 minutes after getting his first goal, Troy gets a second. Now it was a good ball in by Horgan, good play by, I think it was short corner from McLean to Horgan. He crosses the ball in, and Troy then with a header. I mean, the keeper. That's a shocker from the keeper. Like, I don't care. Like, I could take any goal, but the keeper, it was a shocker. Like, something you'd see a 7-year-old do. The keeper.
Yeah, no, it was Andorra. We have to bear that in mind. I actually thought the keeper could have done better with Troy's first goal as well, but that was a great strike. But definitely he should have done better with the second one.
I watched it back. Chance. It was actually a very good strike, this first goal.
Okay. Oh no, it was from our perspective, it was a great run from Troy and a great strike. But I just thought maybe I'm being a bit harsh on the keeper on that one. The Ronan Curtis one didn't look as bad from my angle. I haven't watched it back on TV. I was on the other side of the pitch, so the cameras. Yeah, I know. I've spoken to a couple of people. Yeah, it's I believe it's pretty bad. Thankfully, it didn't matter. Great cross from Conor Horgan, and it was a great header from Troy. Okay, maybe the keeper should have done better, but look, he was absolutely buzzing. You could see it, you could feel it even in the stadium when the second goal went in. It was kind of felt, look, that's it, we're going to go on and beat them now, and the confidence levels went up. The passing got so much better and crisper and everything, and they were just a team transformed. And those two goals in 3 minutes.
Andorra tiring?
I don't. Look, it's the old cliche, and I don't think so. I think maybe their heads dropped a little bit when Troy got the first goal, and then the second one to come straight after it. But what I would say is there wasn't much from Andorra after that. They probably were partly down to the heads dropping, and partly, look, the exertions of pressing so hard for the first hour. I mean, they're either amateur or part-time players, so I mean, it is a big ask for them, even up against championship players or League One players. It's a big ask for them, not to mind the Premiership players we had as well. So, I mean, look, we were expected to beat them, and we did beat them comfortably in the end. But that 3 minute spell was absolutely crucial.
Yeah, but I think it shows when you have good young players and you let them attack players. You know what I mean? I think we don't see enough of it. We don't see enough of our players trying to take on players. We don't see enough positive play. As Damien Delaney said on Virgin Media, it's all safe backwards, sideways. Let's show some courage in there. Get someone on the ball. I actually firmly believe that Malumbi maybe started, that he might have been the man then to come in, drop in, look for the ball short, turn with it, run with it, and also then get into positions then to receive the ball, because he did show moments where Horgan was almost hiding behind their attacker rather than getting in a position to receive the ball off him. But I don't know, look, maybe Stephen Kenny's telling him to do that, I don't know. But it's just from my point of view, I think Malumbi would be a better fit. And then if you were maybe to play Jamie McGrath as someone who could provide your set pieces then, because I know obviously Conor is our main man for set pieces. I thought some were good and some were bad, but He obviously did get an assist for the second goal. I suppose then in the 66th minute, Adamida and Daryl Horgan came on. I thought Daryl Horgan done really well when he came on. It seems to always do decent for us. You know, you always remember that he put in a shift every time he's played for Ireland, I think, and especially under Stephen Kenny.
Yeah, I think he's one of these people that actually do step up. I mean, for some players, I think international football can be just maybe too much pressure and they kind of retreat back into their shell. Whereas Daryl Horgan is someone that really he thrives in it, and the higher level seems to suit him. And yeah, I agree, he played very well. I thought Adamida played very well as well, actually, when he came off. I think definitely the substitutions gave us this just bit of added impetus to really go at them. Now, maybe it was a case they were tiring as well, and obviously our tails were up, having come from behind to go 2-1 up. So it was probably a good time to be coming on the pitch. But yeah, I was impressed with both Daryl Horgan and Adamida.
Yeah, I wasn't so much impressed with Adamida, but maybe he probably impressed you inside the stadium because you're obviously getting a closer look at him. But
yeah, his movement. I was. Maybe I was watching him a bit closer then as well. But he's off the ball, but his movement was excellent, and we did seem to have just more. I don't know how to describe it, but we were just more fluent. We looked much more of a threat when he was on the pitch, and when he was moving, he was physical. He seemed to be bothering the defenders, and so I thought he did well.
Some fella in the comments there saying that you look like a cardboard cutout for some reason.
Right, let me turn off the light here and see if that makes a difference. Is that better?
Look, it's nothing really.
Okay.
But yeah, I suppose just to kind of cap off, and then Jamie McGrath then came on as well in the 82nd minute, and that's when the goals came in. Maybe that's a sign. But 2 minutes later, Jason Knight gets on the score sheet. Again, McLean, a throw in to Daryl Horgan. He's totally not even closed down. Puts in a great ball into the box, and there was Knight, who loves to score those type of goals. I know he scored a couple for Derby that were like that as well, where he just kind of just bundles the ball in, but like it doesn't matter, he'll take it all day long. And I was delighted for him to get his first goal because he put in a good shift, and you know what you're going to get from Jason Knight. They were putting up stats about him earlier on about how much he ran. I think he ran over 10k, and just how much of an engine he has. So I was delighted for him to get his first international goal. And I think these first international goals for himself and Troy will really start, paying dividends when we start playing competitive football again, because they have the competitive. It is a competitive goal, So or not a competitive goal. They're a goal in a friendly, but it's still scoring for your country. So I'm delighted for them, and look, that they will take that forward. They take the confidence of actually scoring in an Ireland jersey, and they can take that forward. So when you saw Jason score the goal, you might have watched him when he was younger as well, coming through the ranks. Were you delighted? Obviously, you watched with the 21s.
Yeah, no, I was absolutely delighted for him because, he's only a year older than Troy. I think people forget how young Jason is as well. And it was absolutely fantastic for him. And I thought I really did think he had a great game. I thought he was one of our brighter players in the first half, even when a lot of players didn't play well. So it was great for him to get the goal, and it was, as you said, a great ball from Daryl Horgan. And Jason Knight, I think you're spot on that he does like arriving late from midfield and just popping up at the far post when the defenders aren't expecting him.
He's good at them one-touch finishes, the volleys inside the 6-yard box. I don't think we would actually want anyone more than him in those positions, because he tends to score more often than not when he's in those positions, I think, anyway.
So yeah, he's got a couple of goals like that, as you said, for Derby. Yeah, and it was great to see him get his first international goal. Yeah,
and then obviously he turns provider then for Daryl Horgan. It's funny because it's kind of like a similar ball, and then Horgan gets on the end of it. And I was delighted to see him get his first Ireland goal as well. And obviously Knight then with the assist, who probably should have had an assist in the first half, but James Collins prevented that from happening. But anyway, a 4-1 win. Does that put a bit of gloss on the result? Because, Richie Sadler after the game was basically saying, it's a 4-1 win. Yeah, that's great. The lads got their first goals. That was great. But as a performance and as everything else, we shouldn't be going around patting ourselves on the back. Like, I was joking earlier on, I put up like an Instagram story saying like I'm still buzzing or whatever. But that's just literally because when was the last time we seen Ireland win a game? You know, literally. I don't think, even since you've been part of the channel, I don't think we've won a game, have we? That we've been able to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, you're going back to 2019 for our last win, and that November friendlies, you know, and I think you're going back 14 years for our last away friendly win. When I say away now, I mean I know people are saying the Oman win, but that would mean that Oman weren't actually at home in that game, if you know what I mean. I know we've won some neutral friendlies, but I don't think we've won a friendly since we went to our house and beat Denmark, also by 4. Well, sorry, not by 4. We didn't win by 4 yesterday, but also scoring 4, that famous 4-0 win. And yeah, so yeah, look, I'm not going to get carried away about it. It was a decent last half an hour. It was still Andorra, but it was. Look, you have to beat, and you do beat teams like this, barring miracles or barring really having a bad day. And it was job done. I think they were the ideal opponents for Stephen for this summer window. What I'm hoping is that we'll really benefit. I said this afterwards, that we're going to benefit from the training camp. So, okay, the win and the goals are going to give the players and the squad some confidence. But Stephen's had over a week now working with these players, and he's got another few days until Tuesday's game. And I think that worked really, really well for him with the under-21s 2 years ago with Toulon. And I'm hoping that it's the same is going to happen now with the senior squad. And maybe we'll see it on Tuesday night, but certainly, hopefully, in September.
Yeah, 100%. But I'll just go through the stats of the game, I suppose. So Andorra shots for Ireland 11, shots on target 1-4, which was the scoreline. Corners, they had 1, we had 5. Possession 28%, we had 72% of possession. Passes completed 95 to our 518. Fouls committed 14 to our 10. So, you know, overall, I suppose it was dominant in that aspect if you're looking at kind of the shots on target. But again, they did tire. They don't have any real players of note. So, and they brought on a 41-year-old towards the end of the game who I think scored against us in 1997.
No, 2000. He scored in Lansdowne Road in 2001. They actually took the lead 20 years ago. Yeah,
But
he had been playing international football for a few years, even at that stage. Yeah.
Okay, maybe he made his debut in '97. That's might have been what it was. But he obviously comes on, like, and that's when we got 2 of the goals as well. So I'm not really reading into this as anything major. I'm happy. It'll give confidence to the likes of Troy and Jason Knight and probably Daryl as well. I'd probably say Daryl will probably get a start off the back of the result, maybe ahead of Curtis, and rightly so. Justifiably so. He scored his goal, he took his chance, and obviously got an assist too. Although you could probably say Curtis got an assist for that Troy goal because he kind of flicks it with his heel, I think, by the look on the replay. But I just think Horgan made more of an impact while he was on the pitch. And again, you could say that was down to fatigue or whatever you want if you really want to be critical. But at the end of the day, it's a 4-1 win. There's going to be a bit of confidence there. Don't know what fell there. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Oh, just checking because live TV, you just never know. Yeah, so I look, with a win, it's going to bring some confidence into the team. But at the same time, I am certainly not getting carried away. But if we were to go and beat Hungary or get some sort of result against Hungary, I'd be buzzing. Coming out of an international window with 2 wins, I'd be buzzing.
Yeah, Hungary is going to be a totally different ball game. I mean, they've qualified. They've qualified for the Euros. This is their send-off game. It's their final game. They've got 2 games at home in the Euros. They're playing us. I'm expecting a full house on Tuesday. Fans are allowed. And they are going to be absolutely buzzing, and they're going to be really up for this. So this is going to be a real test. And if we can win on Tuesday, I'd be very, very impressed. In fact, I'd be delighted with a draw. So it's going to be a tough one.
They finished top of their group, didn't they?
No, they got in through the playoffs. They qualified. They beat they came through Iceland and the Iceland and Bulgaria playoff. They actually came through the Nations League A because they were bumped up from League C, but they did really well they still did really well to qualify, and they've actually made a good start in World Cup qualifying as well.
Maybe they're top of the group in that, is it?
I think England are top, but I think it's second. They drew with Poland. They beat Andorra as well in a competitive match. They're in the same group. And they beat somebody else, I think it was San Marino or someone like that. So they made a decent enough start to qualifying, and they're probably a coming team. You know, they've been in the doldrums for quite a while. They qualified for Euro 2016, was their first tournament. I don't know, it was the 1980s. So they hadn't qualified for so long. And now they've done really well to qualify for a second one. And I think it's going to be a real test.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we'll actually touch properly in detail on Hungary when we do our match preview. But all in all, that's been the final word. I'm trying to just keep it I am happy, but I am trying to keep a balance on it and being realistic that it is Andorra that we've beaten. So, yeah, I suppose that's been it. Huge thanks to Gary, and yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll speak to you all soon. Get that cat out of the background.